Have you ever felt the need to control things, even your outcomes, and thought that if you could just control the future, everything would be okay? Hey, shapeshifters, welcome back to another episode of the Cosmic Valkyrie podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Louise, Master Certified Hypnotist and the creator of the Evolution 10X method. And today we're going to dive into something that might just set you free in a way that you didn't even realize you needed. If you're like most women, you've probably done all the journaling, the affirmations, strategies, and even planning, but probably still feel like some things are not falling into place. More times than not, we're clutching so tightly onto the outcome that the thought of it not happening creates anxiety and overwhelm. So today we're going to talk about letting go of your attachment to the outcome. With total transparency, one of the hardest things that I had to learn how to let go of. So the first thing you need to know is that control is an illusion. Not only is it an illusion, it's one of the biggest blocks keeping you from manifesting the life that you want. And today we're going to dismantle this myth of control so you can begin to work magic in your ability to create your dream life. I'm going to show you how to let go of the attachment to your outcome while not losing focus, making you a magnet to the life you've been trying to force into place. We're going to be diving into the brain science, quantum physics, and mystic truth. I'm going to give you practical steps to help you create real momentum in manifesting, so buckle up. This is going to be a ride or die episode. I want to start with the obvious question. Why do we cling so tightly to control in the first place? Because this isn't random. It's not because you're a type A personality or obsessive. It's because your brain has one massive job, and that's keeping you alive. Your brain's number one job is not success, it is safety. Your subconscious is actually a prediction machine, meaning its primary function is to keep you alive based on what it learned and the experiences that you have had in the past. So when something hurt you in the past, your brain files that under dangerous and avoid at all cost. It labeled it, for basic educational terms, as failure, rejection, or heartbreak. And now, when you set a new goal or dream a bigger dream, your subconscious is like, cool, but how can we control every variable so we never, ever feel that pain again? And that is your brain trying to control the outcome. And that control creates a feeling of urgency and desperation. It feels necessary and that there's no other option. But here's the truth. Control isn't power, it is fear and panic in disguise. And when you're operating from fear, your frequency is fractured. You're unable to send out that signal into the 5D that's in alignment to what you desire. And it's actually creating resistance in your ability to manifest. Instead of sending out a strong, coherent signal to the quantum field, which I call a 5D, you're blasting out static. Think of white noise. You're manifesting from a silent panic, and that's why things feel stuck. I want to help you understand why control doesn't actually work, because when you grasp this, we can take you to the next step, which is shifting your perspective into badassery. You hear me talk about the quantum field a lot. The quantum field is the fundamental fabric of reality. So let's break this down from a quantum physics perspective. Everything emerges from this invisible field of infinite potential. Everything. Matter, energy, space, even time. Think of the quantum field as a sea of energy that underlines everything in the universe. Instead of solid, fixed objects, the building blocks of reality, known in science as subatomic particles, doesn't exist as a static thing. They exist as waves of possibility in the quantum sea until they are observed or interacted with. This means reality isn't a fixed stage where life happens. It's actually dynamic and responsive, consistently taking shape based on your interaction and observations. So, how does this relate to real life? Because that's always the question. Your life is not predetermined. It is not a straight line etched in stone. Quantum science says every possible version of your future already exists in that quantum field as potential outcomes. And your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions interact with that field like a tuning fork, sending out a frequency. And that frequency you transmit through your dominant energy influences which potential becomes the reality. You'll often hear me refer to this as collapsing the wave or collapsing timelines. You're literally collapsing that wave into a particle, or in simpler terms, making one possibility real. So when your focus is on fear, lack, or doubt, you amplify that frequency. But when you align your beliefs, emotions, and actions with trust, clarity, and purpose, you resonate with potential matches to that particular state. And life then isn't something that is happening to you. It is something you are co-creating within the quantum field of infinite possibilities. I'm going to give you a visual to help you understand this deeper, because I know sometimes our physical brain likes to push back. So I want you to imagine the quantum field is like a giant cosmic menu. Every possible dish is already on the menu. Now, if you keep ordering the same old dish, the one you've always chosen because it feels safe and familiar, you'll keep getting the same results you've always gotten. This is where most people get stuck. They want something different, but their focus stays glued on what they already know. They're tuned into a frequency of familiar, even if familiar isn't what they want. And when your energy is on the old, the quantum field says, okay, she wants more of that, and it delivers it. But when you shift your attention and energy even slightly, you open the door to new possibilities. You start browsing the full menu instead of clinging to the usual. And that's when life gets really exciting. Your focus is your menu selection, and your frequency is your currency. When you combine clear focus on what you want and the energy that matches it, you're not just manifesting, you're collapsing potential into your own reality. And that's why alignment matters, because clarity plus coherence isn't just spiritual talk. It's actual physics. It's actual science. It's how you shape your reality in the quantum field. And going back to control is you trying to collapse those possibilities into one tiny outcome, a single path, and most of the time, that path is built on old programming. When you're trying to control, you're not creating the future, you're recreating the past. You're using yesterday's fears as a blueprint for tomorrow. And the tighter you grip, the less you hold. I want you to think about water in your hand. The more you clutch, the faster it slips through your fingers. Same with outcomes. The more desperate you feel, the more resistance you create. This is physics. It's not woo. It's not made up. It's physics. When you clutch an outcome, your vibration screams that you don't trust it will happen unless you force it. The universe isn't responding to your words. It's responding to your personal frequency. And that frequency is lack. So let's go deeper. When you are attached to an outcome, you're not just attached to the results. You're attached to what you think it means about you. I want you to hear this again. When you cling to a specific outcome, you're not just holding on to the result itself. You're holding on to the story you've made up about what that result says about you. You've tied your worth, your safety, your identity to that goal, believing that if you achieve it, then you will be enough. But if you don't, you label yourself a failure. We've all been there, so don't beat yourself up. You didn't know this information before you listened to this podcast. But the truth is, from this perspective, it's never about the outcome. It's about the feeling you think the outcome will give you. Freedom, security, love, power. But what becomes possible when you feel that way now, before the outcome even exists? When you detach not from the desire, but from the desperation, you stop hustling and you start creating from alignment. So what does letting go of an outcome actually mean? Let's start with the misconception. People think that letting go means doing nothing and that surrender is passive. Surrender is power. Letting go does not mean dropping your vision. It means dropping the illusion that you can bully the universe into compliance. It's detaching from the how and the when and staying devoted to the essence. You still have to plan, you still have to take action, but those actions flow from trust, not terror, not panic, not overwhelm. Think of it like this. You can choose a destination on your GPS, but you can't control the traffic, the weather, the detours. Trying to will only exhaust you. You have to trust that you're just going to arrive, even if it's later than you expected. The same with your goals and your outcomes. Now, I highly suggest that you go back and listen to this podcast many times over to really begin to understand and know what I'm talking about here. But I want to give you some action steps so that you're not left hanging with all this information and no way to process it or move forward. So here are some practices to break down the control loop and start creating from freedom. Now, induction hypnosis is one of the fastest ways to create this transformation on a core level. And I have a specific hypnosis I've created that you can download today and use daily, weekly, monthly. The link is in the show notes, and it's called Confidence Hypnosis. But let's get you some relief today. Now, honestly, there are other ways to achieve this that might not be as powerful, and they probably take significantly longer. So if you're going to implement these, you need to be consistent and frequent with your actions and very, very patient in achieving the transformation. So know that straight out of the gate. This practice I'm going to give you, I call essence versus outcome. It's a practice of releasing control. When you cling to the outcome, it's rarely about the thing itself. It's about what you believe it represents, the success, the validation, security, love. And that attachment often reveals the hidden fears you're carrying. This exercise is designed to help you shift from controlling into alignment with frequency. Because when you focus on the essence of what you truly desire, meaning how you want to feel, you open space for your life to surprise and delight you in ways that you could never ever have imagined or even planned on. So I'm going to give you some questions and you will need to answer them with full transparency, no bypassing and no fluff. And these are questions that you're not going to answer and then be done with. You're going to have to be consistent and frequently ask yourself these questions. The first one's going to be, what outcome am I currently gripping onto so tight that it feels like life or death to me? And be honest. What is that thing you think you have to have happen? The second question you're going to have to ask yourself is, What story am I telling myself about myself if this doesn't happen? Is it that I'm a failure, I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy? What are those stories? Be real and transparent with yourself. The third one is going to be, where do I feel fear or shame when I think about this not happening? Is it fear of judgment, fear of financial instability? Maybe it's fear of being invisible. You have to identify it. The next one, what are you trying to control? Meaning, what are you trying to control out of fear that if you stop trying to control it, it won't happen? This question is gold, and you should really sit with it. Identify the essence you are really craving beneath that outcome. Where in your life do you already feel this essence? Really explore it. If it's freedom, peace, recognition, love, security, these exist even if they're only in micro moments. So identify them. And you can even find daily rituals that can amplify that essence for you right now without waiting for an outcome. It could be a journal exercise like answering these questions, an embodiment practice, a sensory experience. Find something to be able to identify that essence in your life right now. And then the last question I want you to ask yourself is, how would I show up differently if I trusted the path instead of trying to control it? If you need to, not while you're driving, close your eyes and imagine this version of yourself. Confidence, surrendered, magnetic. And like I mentioned before, this is actually where the power of confidence induction hypnosis can 10x this transformation. It can rapidly move through all these questions in a matter of minutes instead of months or days or years. Now, another practice that many of my listeners already practice is breath work for release. So if this resonates, you can practice this in your morning routine. Every morning, ask yourself, what aligned action would the woman who already has this take today? Then inhale, I trust the unfolding. Exhale, I release the timeline. And you can repeat that 3 times. And then you can continue with your daily breath work or tapping from there. But allow the answers to flow in and flow out. Then you have to go do the things. It's not about simply observing. This breath work is about creating an action plan. Not from pressure, but from presence. Letting go isn't about losing control. It's about realizing that you never had it to begin with. And I know that's scary. But letting go is truly pure freedom. Detaching from the outcome makes you magnetic because you're no longer signaling to the universe from a place of fear. Instead, you are embodying self-trust. And trust collapses timelines faster than any strategy could. So the next time you catch yourself clutching to the how and the when, remember this. You're not here to strangle the future into submission. You're here to shape it through alignment, not control. Now, if this episode cracked something open for you, please leave a great review. It helps with the algorithms and it will give others the ability to transform too. And if you want to find out how to work with me or even gain access to some of my free offers, check out my website in the show notes and go to the Work With Me tab. Because this isn't just about theory. This is about learning how to completely rewire your perspective and your inner dialogue so manifestation becomes second nature. The version of you who already has what you desire exists in the quantum field. And it's time to collapse those timelines. And we can do that together. So stay bold, stay open, and never ever trade your truth for comfort. Until next time. Thanks for listening to this entire podcast. If you love helping others, then please share this via your social media with friends and family. If you found value in it, they will too. Also, If you have questions, I'm here for you. You can email me questions to thecosmicvalkyrie@gmail.com. I might even use one of your questions on future podcast episodes. Also, I do have a personal request. I believe that we are all here to help each other heal, grow, and evolve. So let's help more people. If you would please, leave a nice review on iTunes. It will help the algorithms, and I would be forever grateful. And through your assistance, we could transform more lives.